Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Today's today's going to be a review of Star Wars Han Solo, or I guess Star Wars the Solo movie. And first off, from my own perspective, I have to say that it's gonna be mixed. It's gonna be mixed. This is my opinion. So, whatever my opinion is, you could go by it and say good for you, or you can say basically you can basically say I'm doing bad. I'm a bad boy, I guess. So this is my honest opinion that for the most part I enjoyed this movie. I was going in and thinking that this movie was going to be horrible, like a movie that I am going to name called Star Wars The Last Jedi. And the reason I go like this because the last movie was pretty horrible, but this movie was kind of in a way. I don't want to say horrible either because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it from beginning to end. I don't know about you guys, but yes, Han Solo or the Solo movie was great compared to The Last Jedi. Yeah, comparing it to The Last Jedi, I can say this movie was great. But the problem is that most people said this movie was not a Star Wars movie. They didn't feel like a Star Wars movie, but the reason I thought that this was a better movie than the last movie, The Last Jedi, is because the problem that I have with Star Wars for the most part in my own way is that they go with one scene, then they jump to something completely different scene, which doesn't go with the previous scene, which makes it in a way confusing because I'm like, yo, I just saw this scene, and then all of a sudden it just jumped to a different scene, which I guess I'm not going to say that The Last Jedi was with I forget, but The Last Jedi had Princess Leia, and I have to say she was, for the most part, she was legit. Most of those characters were legit characters from the old Star Wars, from the beginning of Star Wars. But I have to say that for the bad part of this movie, and I'm not just trying to trash it or say anything bad about it, but for this one is that we never got to see any of the characters that we saw in the previous Star Wars movies. The only one we got to see was basically Chewbacca. But then after, we didn't see R2D2. We didn't get to see, I think, 3CPO. I think that's the name of the character. And then we didn't get to see 2D or whatever that. No, I forget the name of the character. The one that was introduced in two of the Star Wars, The Last Jedi, and then a previous Star Wars. But for the most part, I'm kind of confused with the way that Star Wars is, because as we were always told, that was just Star Wars, then Star Wars, the next Star Wars. But as we always know, that Star Wars has never been in chronological order. So that has been Star Wars here, Star Wars there, Star Wars everywhere, Star Wars all around. Star Wars, it's like this: Star Wars Part 1, Star Wars Part 2. They even end up, I think the way that I'm saying it is completely wrong, because I think they came up with like Star Wars Part 7, Star Wars Part 5, Star Wars Part 8, and so on. Which I don't think they did it in chronological order from the movie scheme either, the naming scheme, which it should have been. But I guess it's more like Paranormal Activity, where they went from the end to the beginning, and I don't even think there is a Paranormal Activity anymore. And if it continues, then we'll get to see what that is about. but it's almost like Paranormal Activity, where it starts with like part it starts with the ending, then the next movie is like one year before, and so on until they get to a place where they see the photo. They have a photo in the attic or somewhere where they get to see like, whoa. They return. They do like the next movie after that one would be like 10 years before, or like 15 years before. Like, this is how it all happened. Whoa. It's not like this is how it happened, and then we're gonna move forward with it. No, this is the ending, and then you get to the beginning. Like, this is why all of this happened, because of this. They first show you all of this happening, then in the next movies, and they show you what led up to all of this, which is kind of weird. It should start with this leading up to all of this, instead of all of this was led by this. So that's how I'm saying it. It's like Paranormal Activity, but like I said, for the most part, I enjoyed this movie. So let me kind of give you my own synopsis of what this movie is about. So my own synopsis. I don't know why I say synopsis, but it's synopsis. So my synopsis of this movie is that Han Solo was a little boy, I guess, or I don't know if he was a little boy, or we're going to say teenage years, I guess, before he's an adult. But in the teenage years, he's with his girlfriend, and I guess you can say they're poor. I guess I'm not sure if they're poor, but I'm going to assume they're poor. But they got some kind of liquid or some kind of item that they could give to one of the rulers to make millions of dollars or something. They could, no, not millions. I think they can make only $600 or $700, or I don't know if it's more than that, but they can make money off of that item. So they go to this place to find, like, I guess a worm that controls him or something, that says, do you have my money? You borrow this amount. Do you have my money? This alien worm says, do you have my money? And Han Solo says, no, I don't, but I have something. Just let us go, and we will get you the money as soon as possible. But the thing is that those guys don't believe it. But Han Solo goes crazy and starts attacking this. I guess he starts attacking the alien worm, whatever it is, with his girlfriend. His girlfriend also gets crazy and starts attacking too. And that's where they escape. They run. And the troops say, yeah, let's go take him down. Take Han Solo and his girlfriend down. And all of a sudden, Han Solo goes to this place where it's like, kind of like, I don't know if it's an encampment or it's kind of like, say, freedom. It's like a freedom. If you guys know, please let me know what the name of the place is. But it's like a little place where kind of like a camp, or kind of like a border, where it says, pay me and you get through. Pay me and you get through. Okay, so at that point, when Han Solo and his girlfriend kind of get through it, the lady says, pay me. So Han Solo says, I don't have any money, but I can give you this item. And then Han Solo says, first the lady says, put your item into this and we'll let you through. But Han Solo, I'm sorry for all the noise. So Han Solo, like I said, I'm sorry for all that noise that's happening around me. So for the part being is that Han Solo he says, nope, let us through and we'll give you this at the same time. So then that's when the lady behind the booth says, okay, that's going to happen. And then all of a sudden, as soon as he puts his item into that opening that the lady in the toll booth says, as soon as he puts his item inside the place where the lady from the toll booth, he puts his item in, and then he goes across to the other side. But then as soon as he's about to cross to the other side, the lady behind the toll booth calls security and says, get Han Solo, not Han Solo, but just get Han, or just get him, get them, and don't let him cross. But the good part is that Han gets to go through to the other side, kind of like a border, while his girlfriend gets taken by security. So that's where we're at. Where I felt that yes, that was kind of sad though, that his girlfriend didn't make it through, and that's where Han Solo says, "I want to escape this place, but I don't want to escape. I don't want to escape to get my freedom. I want to escape to come back. I want to escape to come back to this place and save my girlfriend." But when that happens, I guess that doesn't really happen at all anyways, because he escapes and he goes to like flight or training school or something like that. Goes to like training school, I guess, to learn how to fly a jet or one of those. I really don't know what it's called at the moment, but one of those flying gadgets, I guess plane, I'll say plane or spacecraft. I'll just go with spacecraft. So he learns how to fly the spacecraft, and then they find out that Han Solo is with a group of people, and he disobeys them and says he wants to be a rebel. A rebel. That's why I said rebel, not Red Bull. Rebel, REBEL. So when he wants to be a rebel, he ends up saying, yeah, I don't know why we're fighting. I think we're fighting for the wrong team. I think we're doing our own thing. And then that's where that one guy, I forget his name, that one older looking guy says, "I'm not doing this for us. I'm doing this because we were hired to do it." And yes, for the most part, that was kind of confusing for the most part, because that guy ended up being sort of I guess he ended up being the antagonist of the movie, I guess, for the most part, because first off he did try to help Han, but the guy ended up expressing his feelings. He said, "I don't trust anybody because they will turn their back on you." And that's when he told Han Solo, "Yes, Han Solo, don't trust me either because I may turn on you too." But Han Solo didn't believe it, so he kind of got duped. But at the same time, Han Solo was kind of smarter about that, and he duped that guy too. With that, I don't know what kind of liquid he had in there that he got from under the towers or somewhere. This liquid that was inside these boxes, these containers. So that's how I went. It was really confusing. But for the most part, I can say this movie was for me was great. But the very bad part, I guess, spoiler alert for everybody else that hasn't seen this movie yet, I have to say the only bad part about this movie, and I'll be honest, the 100% bad part of this movie is that Han Solo's girlfriend, and I'll say girlfriend because I'm not really sure. I'll have to be honest, because in this movie I don't know if this Han Solo is a new Han Solo or this is the going backwards in time again, because we got to see Darth Maul again. So it could probably be that it was in the past, the same way that we saw in the last movie, not in the last movie, but in the last prequel, as I like to say. I guess it's a prequel anyways, but in the prequel we got to see Darth Vader, which is like, wow, we got to see Darth Vader come back from the dead, or back from where he vanished. And for the most part, I was kind of confused with Han Solo and his girlfriend, because for the most part, Han Solo and his girlfriend looked like they were together the whole time during the grown-up scenes, when they're adults. That's when I said, okay, they're going to get better. It's going to get better. They're going to get together. They're going to fly away, escape. But for the only bad part is that I guess Han Solo's girlfriend ended up screwing with him. That was the sad part, that she ended up screwing with him because she was working for this one leader, but she ended up killing him anyways. She ended up taking him down. So she kind of tricked that one guy. I forget what's his name, because this movie was great, but at the same time so different, because I didn't really get to see. I really don't remember none of the characters, because most people remember big character names like Han Solo. That's everybody knows. Who doesn't know about Obi-Wan Kenobi? Like yo. Like yo, who doesn't know about that? Obi-Wan Kenobi. Who doesn't know about Darth Maul? Who doesn't know about Darth Vader? Who doesn't know about I don't remember the name of the character's name, but Darth Vader's son. Like, who doesn't remember that? Who doesn't remember, how do we say, who doesn't remember Princess Leia? Who doesn't remember Chewbacca? Who doesn't remember R2D2 and so on, and R3PO or C3PO, I guess it's called. But those are big names that everybody remembers. It's not like, oh, shoot, I don't know the name of Darth Vader. Who is that guy? No, everybody knows Darth Vader. It's not like you can hide and say, wow. Even me, and I'll be honest, even I, that haven't watched every Star Wars out there, because I'll be honest, it's not that I didn't like Star Wars, is that I guess for the most part that when Star Wars initially came out, because I'm going to say that when Lucas sold his films or his rights to Disney, I felt that all those movies were going to become worse, technically worse. And I would say they've technically gone bad. And then they have their little thing that they bring them back to the light. It's like, yo, that was great. That was different. But for the most part, I have people out there, and I've heard also on the internet that Han Solo movie was a disaster. But for me, I highly enjoyed it. And people in my auditorium, in the theater that I went to, in my auditorium, I have to be honest and say that people did enjoy the movie. For the most part, they enjoyed the whole thing. I'm not going to trash and say, look, man, it sucked. Now, for the most part, I enjoyed it, and most people that were watching the movie enjoyed it too. There was a lot of laughs. Not going to say that it sucked at all, because it didn't. It didn't. For me, it didn't. Even though people said, oh man, you're gonna be sitting for 2 hours for this horrendous movie. I'll tell you, I'll give you 2 examples of movies that, not because I want you to feel that Star Wars was amazing or it was a masterpiece or it was like, wow, it's like completely different. No, let me give you my honest answer here on which 2 movies right off the bat. Well, I have to say yes, 2 to 3 movies that are right off the bat garbage, and not because I want to hate on them or because they're different genres of movies, but they're basically almost Disney movies anyways. I don't know if I don't think Jurassic Park is, but I can say Jurassic Park was a big disaster for me because Jurassic Park always has to do with, oh, you're in a theme park, because it's not that you're in a jungle. It's, for the most part, it's like you're in a theme park or in a zoo. I guess you could say a theme park. I guess you could say you're in a theme park for most of these movies, these so-called different Jurassic Park movies. I have to say that for the most part, you're in a theme park in the future or in the past or wherever they feel like putting it. But for the most part, I have to say that those movies were long and boring. The reason I have to say it like this, boring, is because it's just the same thing. It's like watching the first Jurassic Park, but just with different actors and just different scenarios, and I guess scenarios, however you want to say it. But that was just a disaster. And the same thing goes for, man, the same thing goes for, I mean, they should just quit that franchise of Jurassic Park. And that's the way I have to say it. Just quit Jurassic Park while you're ahead. Just like how I felt for, that's the same way I felt for, that's the same thing I felt for Alice in Wonderland. Like, I sat through Alice in Wonderland, the first movie. Alice in Wonderland, the first movie. I sat through it and I felt like, wow, what a great movie. And when I saw the second one, was like, I didn't even recognize what the heck the movie. You know what I was gonna say, but what the heck the movie was about. I don't want to say bad words here because I don't think it's suitable for kids. But I'm gonna say, look, what the heck is this movie about, man? Especially that in Alice in Wonderland, they had time traveling, travel to the future, travel to the past, travel to the present, travel here, travel there, and especially that it wasn't even enjoyable. Especially, I mean, I let the first one go through because it was just great, but the second one was like a slap in the face. Like, what? Come on. You had all this money and you ruined your franchise by doing something completely different. Like, I know that the cartoon version, the animated version is going to be amazing, but this is just like, what? Why did I sit through like 3 hours of this movie, or 2.5 hours of this movie to waste my time? So, for most of you that are going to say that Han Solo sucked, I would say it's in my opinion better, amazing compared to Alice in Wonderland, compared to Jurassic Park, compare it to even this boring movie that I'm even gonna put my hands over my face again and cover my eyes and say, oh my gosh, because if I say something else then you guys are gonna hate me. But for the most part, Han Solo was great. But the bad part for this is that it's not amazing though, because it wasn't amazing, but it was great compared to Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, the franchise of Pirates of the Caribbean, and I'm not going to try to trash Pirates of the Caribbean either, but it has to come to an end, I guess, because Pirates of the Caribbean, I guess it's sort of like Harry Potter, where it has 4 movies, then you wait, like, let's say we wait like 5 years for the next movie. Like, I'm not sure if Harry Potter was every single year of a sequel, or it was every 2 years, or it was one year, then the next one 3 years, then the next one like 4 years, 5 years, and so on. But for the most part, I have to say, I've never seen Harry Potter, so I cannot and I will not trash Harry Potter. And I will not say that I've been living in this world for 23 years and have not even considered watching Harry Potter. I mean, I've sat through Harry Potter. I've sat and watched some of Harry Potter movies. Some, but not the whole movie. The whole movie. I've just seen scenes from the movie, which was kind of okay. I'm not, and I have to say the same thing for Lord of the Rings. Like Lord of the Rings, there's Lord of the Rings half. I don't know what the name of the Lord of the Rings, but they have Lord of the Rings, and then they came out with The Hobbit, which is, I don't know if it's a spin-off or you can say that it's, I don't want to say it's a spin-off, but for the most part, I have to say it's more or less a spin-off, or it's a continuance, just like the new Harry Potter. The new Harry Potter, that they're still making money off of Harry Potter, and then they're still making money off of the spin-off or the before Harry Potter. Now they're making movies, but technically I guess it's before Harry Potter. So that's where I felt like all these spin-offs, all these movies that have been going for many years just don't fit in. They don't fit in. It's like just tiring just to hear Pirates of the Caribbean. It's boring. I've never had. I mean, I'm not trying to give low ratings to Johnny Depp, but that's not what the point is. So I've gone off through. I've gone off course to say something different than what it was. Like this. Get out of here already. Now let's get back to Han Solo. So Han Solo, yes. Yes, Han Solo. Han Solo, yes. This movie was better, and I hope you guys understand my perspective, that I felt that Han Solo was better than The Last Jedi. The reason for that is because it's a lot of confusion where, there's a couple of people on Earth, there's a couple of people on this planet, there's a couple of people shooting here and there in their spacecrafts and shooting this big old space, this alliance and so on. But I feel that it's kind of confusing when it comes to that. It's definitely confusing. I'm not hating on anything, but it's confusing. For the most part, I felt this Han Solo was better. It was great. It's great just to have that movie, but I feel that 6 months is rushed, because I feel that they're going to say Star Wars they're gonna say Star Wars the prequel, then back to Star Wars, then Star Wars to the prequel of the prequel. The reason I say prequel is because they go with the movie, then they go back to a prequel, then they go back to the actual movie, then they go back to prequel, back to the same movie, then prequel, back, and so on. But for the most part, in my opinion, I felt that this was not amazing, but this was just great. It was great. I enjoyed it for the most part, because people out there, like I said, were trashing this movie and saying, look, they 6 months and the movie's already out, 6 more months and the next movie's out, 6 more months after that. And I have to say, what the heck? Which I'm not here to trash any movie, but I'm not here to, like I said, I'm not here to trash any movie. I'm here to give my honest opinion and say, look, man, this is just tiring just to say Star Wars, or like something like that. But it's just tiring when it comes to, like, it's tiring to hear the same name over and over. And I will be honest with you, Star Wars for the US. The reason I say US is because in the US, Star Wars is a big hit. It's a big punch. Like, whoa, it made all this money. But as soon as you take that same movie, I don't understand how it works. That Star Wars, for the most part, you take it to the overseas and the movie just like, what? But then when you have a movie like Godzilla that you see in, I guess, Godzilla and King Kong, that you get to see, that you see that in, I don't want to say that you see it overseas. I think it comes from overseas first, and then that's where it's like, wow, this movie did good. But when it hits the US, like, this movie just, what the heck was this movie? Because that's how I felt about King Kong, the Skull, which is sad. So I would guess this is it. So thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and I'll catch you on the next one.